Hi, boys and girls, and this is our language-based science lesson. Have you ever wondered what the world would be like if there were no deaths in animals? That whatever animal was born would live on forever. And then what would it be like? I wonder if there would be enough food for everyone. I wonder if there would be enough space for everyone. And I wonder what people would do about animals taking over the space that they want. Something interesting to think about. In today's language lesson and activity, you are going to be reading for information about predators and other threats. In this lesson, you will learn that an animal's life might not only be at risk because of an animal hunting it, it might be at risk for other reasons. We're going to be learning the term predator and prey. Now, there are predators, and predators are animals that hunt for another animal. The term prey refers to the hunted animals. Okay, so we've got an animal, let's call it a wolf. And a wolf is a predator, and a predator is an animal that hunts, and a wolf is an animal that hunts. They hunt in packs. The prey for a wolf is a moose. They're large animals, so it could be a moose that a wolf pack would eat. So we have a predator, that's the wolf, and its prey, that is the moose. This is a food chain. A food chain is it shows the transfer of energy within an ecosystem of an environment. Now, energy is transferred between organisms when one organism eats another. That's how God has designed us. People, animals, and plants need to eat. They need nutrition in order to make for our bodies to make energy for what is needed for life. A food chain is a simple linear, that means it follows a line, series of steps, while a food web is more complex. It's more complicated. Let's just have a moment to look at this example of a food chain. This food chain follows a circle, and I'm going to start right at the bottom where you will see some soil with some fungi, some mushrooms growing in it. Now, fungi or mushrooms only grow on decaying organic material. That is, when an animal dies, it is in the soil. While the animal dies, it just stays on the ground and its body starts to break down. Or when a tree falls down, it just stays it lands on the ground, and its trunk and branches and leaves start to break down, and that's called decay. Well, that decaying is a process that God designed to help to make healthy soil. And the small little animals go in that soil and they find nutrients. Like worms and bugs, they find great, yummy food in that soil. Not me, I wouldn't like to eat that soil, but they find it quite delicious. And then once that soil is all built up and great, and rich and nutritious for plants to grow, then we have plants that grow in that. And God is amazing. He's designed all of this. So plants grow, and then we have some plant-eating insects like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers eat that grass, eat those plants, and then we have some insect-eating animals like this mouse. And then, after the mouse has eaten that grasshopper and got some energy, then we have a raccoon who eats the mouse, gets some energy from that food, that supper. And then we have an owl who hunts a raccoon. And this owl then is considered the animal that's at the highest level. That's the high. This animal is high on the food chain in this example that we see. Now there are predators of owls, but in this example, on this illustration, the owl is the highest in this example of a food chain. And I have copied some other examples of food chains, and you will notice that at the beginning of each food chain, we see plants. And at the end of each of the food chains, we see carnivores. In the middle, we see herbivores and omnivores. An omnivore might also be at the end of a food chain, as another food chain example. Some animals are high on the food chain, just like in the owl. The example of the food chain, the owl was at the highest level of that particular example. But animals are high on the food chain and do not have any natural predators. I'll get back to what it means to be a natural predator, and I'll just touch on it now. That a natural predator is an animal that's naturally is a predator for another animal. And some do not have any other animals that naturally hunt for it. These animals still have threats to their health and life, though. I'm supposed to say life. Then some examples of that are sickness. Sicknesses happen in animals. Sin is in our world, and because of sin, we have sickness. Sicknesses can be caused by viruses. It can be caused by bacteria or even poisons. And the sickness might not be the thing that causes the death of an animal. It just might weaken the animal so much that it won't have the strength and energy to eat. And when it doesn't have enough food, then it doesn't have enough energy, and it's just a big cycle. Overhunting is another reason or another example of a threat that is not a predator or an animal predator. This is when we have humans that take on the role of predator. And when humans overhunt, that means that they don't just hunt for what they need, they do extra hunting, and so it lowers the number of that particular species of animal to one that cannot thrive. It's a lower number than is good for that animal. Another similar idea is trophy hunting. That means to hunt for things just because. And there are good reasons to do that. It's if it makes us feel like have a goal and accomplishment in that. But we need to make sure that we're also being responsible. That when we are hunting for things, we need to make sure that there are enough animals of that species to be able to be fine with this. So this is the kind of trophy hunting that is similar to poaching. That is rule breaking. It's against the law. There are laws for what animals can be hunted and which animals cannot be. They are protected. Another reason why animals would be threatened is from loss of habitat. There are reasons why you have to get permission to build on a certain plot of land, and that is because some animals need space to be able and habitats to be able to live, to be able to have their food supply there and to have the supplies and the habitat for building shelter. And so when humans overdevelop a space, we also need to keep in mind that there's enough of a habitat and environment for for animals. It's at this time in your research that you'll be looking for words like extinct, endangered, threatened, or thriving, because it has a lot to do with animals that are predators, for animals that are prey, and for other threats that are imposed mostly by humans. So if you are looking for if your animal is endangered or threatened or thriving, it helps us to understand God's plan that the food chain is important for keeping a balance of the population of animals. So I hope that you will learn a lot as you research your animal, whether it is a predator or a prey, or both, and what the threats are for your animals. I learned that while gray wolves do not have natural predators of other animals that are predators to them, there's a lot of danger to their lives that is imposed upon by humans. So we need to change that. We need to make sure to live our lives, to make great responsible choices, so that animals, beautiful animals that God has created, like the gray wolf, can live and survive and be able to continue to help us control the population of other animals. If we take one animal out of that food chain, the other animals, it'd be so many that it creates other threats and other problems. So enjoy your research and have a great day. So today, actually, before I close this lesson, I want to remind you that today is your research day. You're going to be making lists of all the information you can find about predators and prey, for that is all about your animal and other threats. You're making lists and notes about that, and then tomorrow you're going to be making those notes and lists into sentences for your animal report. Have a great day. Bye-bye.